fake version of this sculpture could fetch as high as $10,000. Auguste Rodin was a phenomenal French sculptor who created exceptional sculptures during his lifetime. Due to the high demand of his sculptures, his pieces are mass reproduced. Auguste is said to be among the top 10 most faked artists. One of his pieces titled Eternal Spring appeared on the show when a man who inherited it brought it in. Although the appraiser was confident that it was an original, he advised the owner to get a certificate from the committee of Auguste Rodin to prove its authenticity. After the show, the guest sculpture got certified as an original by the committee.
So at auction, an estimate on this would be in that $400,000 to $500,000 range.
Wow. I got to get the heck out of Dodge here. How am I going to? Wow.
We have protection for you.
Oh, thank you.
Daredevil Bobby Leach, who was the first man to survive going over Niagara Falls in a barrel, was the great uncle of this man who brought a trunk Bobby used while on tour after the risky stunt, and a medal he won for the stunt.
People are kind of drawn to that. Oh my God, here's this man who challenged everything, but yet he had this kind of very sad and kind of tragic ending.
Bobby sadly passed away after slipping on an orange peel and breaking his leg. His Niagara Falls archives valued at $8,000 to $10,000.
Oh boy, wow.
She kept this sculpture on her porch without knowing how valuable the piece was. Being the only one out of her siblings to fancy the sculpture, the guest inherited it after her parents passed. The sculpture was made by the famous sculptor Henry Bertoia as part of his Sun Ambient series.
This is made of beryllium copper. It's most likely from the mid-1960s.
Henry recorded the sounds from his Sonambient sculptures and produced a series of 11 albums titled Sonambient.
At auction, we would estimate this today at $20,000 to $30,000.
Almost getting choked up.
Daughters of American football player Henry Jordan brought his championship rings to the show. Henry played defense for the Green Bay Packers, and the team won various championships, including Super Bowl I and II. The wives of the team players were also given championship bracelets to match the rings.
At auction, combined, this would bring $75,000
Really?
to $100,000.
Wow.
We think insurance value is between $150,000 to $200,000.
Daughter of an Italian actress, Dolly Gray came with a portrait of her that was made by Tade Steicher, a Polish painter argued to be one of the greatest portrait artists that has ever lived.
I just fell in love with this painting as soon as I saw it.
Dolly's painting is an oil-on-board canvas that was made in the mid-20th century.
I would feel very comfortable putting an auction estimate of $12,000 to $18,000 on the painting.
Okay, wonderful.
Years before appearing on the show, the value of this painting surpassed its initial $5,000 value with an impressive 10 times margin. It was owned by the guest's stepfather and passed on to her later on. The painting was made by an Austrian artist, Charles H. Wilder, and titled Hour of Prayer. Charles was well known for his Orientalist painting.
It is absolutely a beautiful painting and a great example of Orientalist art. If your painting came to auction, we would value it at $30,000 to $50,000.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, wow.
His map seems to be missing a feature found in original maps. Could hers be fake? She purchased the map for $20 at a store and brought it to the Roadshow to discover whether it was an original. After observation, the appraiser revealed that it was indeed one of the greatest world maps drawn by Dutch cartographer William Blow around 1640 in Amsterdam.
It's got everything map collectors want. It's worth $10,000 in a shop.
Holy cow. Really?
World War II 507th Parachute Infantry Regiment A2 jacket is a remarkable piece of history. It belonged to the guest's father.
I know he was in the military just before the war broke out. I see a couple pictures of him wearing the jacket.
This particular jacket is a brown leather steer-hide A2 flight jacket. What's interesting is that it's typically worn by fighter pilots or bomber crews, but in this case, repurposed for the airborne unit. Furthermore, the jacket features a unit insignia designed specifically for the 507th.
It was designed by 2 sergeants within the unit, but it represents a Black Widow Spider.
Also, this insignia, along with the guest's father's name and service number, adds to the jacket's historical value. Made by Aero Leather Clothing Company in Beacon, New York, this jacket is a rare piece of military history that's valued at...
This is one of those cases where I like to say the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. This jacket, as it sets, would have a retail value of between $3,500 and $4,000.
That's nice.
What was once used as a changing table for a baby turned out to be an investment. This woman bought a sideboard at a flea market for $25 years ago. While preparing to bring it to the show, she saw a sticker that indicated it was made by Craftsman, a company owned by Gustav Stickley.
The Stickley Brothers firm was established in upstate New York, just outside of Syracuse. So they're very firmly an upstate New York company. The arts and crafts movement, which came over from England, sort of was really established in upstate New York by Stickley.
Gustav was a major proponent of the arts and crafts movement in decorative art. The sideboard was made with oak wood around the early 20th century. Its value was $3,000 to $5,000.
Okay, well that's exciting. That's fun.
Believe it if someone had said that the controversial book by Radcliffe Hall, which was once banned from England, would be valued years later. The book titled The Well of Loneliness was brought to the show by a man who received it as a gift from his sister-in-law. His book was the 43rd out of the 225 Victory editions that were published in 1929 by Coveshy Freed.
It is signed by the author,
Yes.
and it is, in fact, a limited edition.
The book's value was $1,000 to $1,500. Citation, this man's wife bought this black dress from its previous owner. His wife collected old clothing pieces and fell in love with the dress the moment it was shown to her. She bought it from the owner for $50. The dress was made by Fortuny, a company founded by an Italian designer, Mariano Fortuny. Mariano revealed that his wife, Henrietta Negrin, was the inventor of the Delphos dress.
And no one has been able to duplicate the pleating process. The retail price on this would be $15,000 to $18,000 for this dress.
Good Lord, what a wonderful,
Before 1949, there were no fiberglass chairs until the company, Ames office, began producing them in 1949. Ames was established in 1941 by an American couple, Charles and Ray Eames. The guest inherited the pair of chairs from his grandmother, who had purchased them for $5. One of the chairs had a little crack, which reduced the value of the pair to $1,500.
wow. Cool, not bad for $5.
Every X gifts anxiety. Some have raised the standard to Andy Warhol painting, too. Despite the breakup, the guest has owned this piece since approximately 2002. The appraiser then shared insights into Warhol's filmmaking career, highlighting his film Chelsea Girls as a significant milestone. In 1982, Warhol contributed a print to a portfolio for the Anthology Film Archives, featuring an image from Chelsea Girls depicting Eric Emerson, one of the movie's stars. This color screen print, signed by Warhol, is from 1982 and is part of an edition of 75. Much to the guest's surprise and delight, the appraiser estimated its auction value to be...
At auction in this shape, I'd put this at $8,000 to $12,000. So,
Are you serious?
It's a nice one.
Showcased on the show is a vintage clock inherited by this guest from his mother. However, the item originally belonged to the guest's grandfather, who was gifted it by his close friend, Henry Ford, an American industrialist and business magnate. Crafted from walnut wood, this clock is particularly notable as it was made by Daniel Rose, a talented American watch and clockmaker renowned for his musical mechanisms, a skill few in America could rival. Upon observation, it's evident that some restoration work had been carried out on the clock's foot. A plaque at the back of the clock authenticates Ford's gift to the guest's grandfather.
We have the plaque that commemorates what you mentioned, that this was given to your grandfather by Henry Ford.
Additionally, the clock's dial remains in pristine condition, retaining its original color. However, there is a visible crack in the moon disc. Overall, this item is an intriguing piece of furniture and a worthy possession, offering us a glimpse into the skillfulness of yesteryears. At auction, the value of this item is estimated to be...
in a retail situation in the vicinity of $50,000 for this clock today.
Wow. Awesome.
The guest brought an original magazine manuscript by Truman Capote, possibly one of the last things he wrote. As the former articles editor of Playboy magazine, he edited works by many renowned writers.
Edited a lot of great writers, Norman Mailer and Kurt Vonnegut and E.L. Doctorow, who just died, and Capote and many others.
In the fall of 1983, Capote was assigned to write a memoir of his friendship with Tennessee Williams.
We were anticipating this. This was going to be the lead story in Playboy's 30th anniversary issue in January of '84.
Capote submitted the manuscript in longhand, but it required significant revision, which the guest requested. Capote, who was unwell at the time, asked the guest to revise it based on their conversations. The guest recorded phone conversations with Capote, who shared stories much more freely than in his written work. These stories were used to revise the manuscript. The revised piece was published in Playboy's January issue, and the guest has kept the original manuscript since then. The manuscript, written in Capote's distinctive longhand, is a rare find. At auction, this manuscript could fetch between...
I would safely auction estimate the manuscript at $20,000 to $30,000.
Sons. He inherited the photograph through his father's side of the family, as Theodore Roosevelt was a cousin to the guest's grandfather's first wife, Christine Keene Roosevelt. The photograph was taken in 1904 and featured Theodore Roosevelt and his 4 sons. The guest also brought a pocket watch given to Christine by Theodore Roosevelt, with an inscription and her initials engraved on it. It had an actual presentation inscription to Christine from Theodore and his wife. The appraiser noted that the photograph's value lied in its rarity, as it features the signatures of Theodore Roosevelt and his sons. The appraiser valued the photograph at...
I would say that at auction, I would list it between $10,000 and $15,000.
The appraiser estimated the watch to be...
Watch is by American Waltham. It's a 14-karat gold pocket watch. By itself, it's probably a $300 watch, but with the association, we would list it at $1,000 to $1,500.
Wonderful.
Yeah, so altogether, at least $11,000 worth of property.
A small mantle clock purchased by the guest about 10 years ago for around $1,000 is actually a miniature bracket clock with a beautiful walnut veneer. The clockmaker, Edward White, is identified on the dial along with his address at 20 Cockspur Street in London, where he was located from 1861 to 1890. The clock features a large, high-quality movement, showcasing White's craftsmanship and attention to detail. Despite its size, the clock is a rare clock and it's highly valuable. At auction, this clock would likely fetch around...
In terms of value, I would think that in a retail store you'd expect to pay $3,000 for this clock today.
Excellent. Excellent. Whirligig was purchased at an estate sale in Minneapolis. It was displayed for one summer before being stored away in the garage for 4 decades. Whirligigs like this were originally crafted for entertainment, to be placed in yards and...
Put it out in the yard and let the wind hit it. And the reason things like this are somewhat rare is because they fall apart if you leave them out in the weather too long.
However, they are prone to damage if left outdoors for extended periods. The figure on the whirligig, resembling a man in a derby hat, is intricately sculpted.
You know, he looks a little bit like Abraham Lincoln, but as far as I know, Abraham Lincoln never wore a derby hat.
Despite its simple design, the whirligig's craftsmanship and the quality of the figure make it stand out. When the wind blows, the whirligig's mechanism comes to life, with the figure appearing to crank a handle, adding a playful and dynamic element to its display. Its estimated value in a retail setting is between...
In a really good retail setting, that this would be $2,000 to $3,000.
I find that hard to believe, but that's great.
This chair is commonly referred to as a Swedish monk's chair. Despite the name, it was likely not made in Sweden, as walnut, the wood used for this chair, is not native to Northern Europe. It's believed to have been crafted by a chairmaker of Swedish descent around 1900.
So our suspicion is that it is by a chairmaker of Swedish descent.
Most likely in the upper Midwest region of the United States. The chair's design is simple yet elegant, with a rich walnut finish. At auction, this monk's chair could easily fetch between...
I would put an auction estimate of around about $500 to $750 on it.
Perfect, good. Well, thank you so much for sharing.
He purchased these items from one of his friends. One of the items displayed is a gun, a 1973 Winchester, with its handle covered with rawhide and a medicine wheel hung at the barrel. This piece isn't an authentic Indian gun, but at auction it would still fetch a value of...
Probably would bring about $600 to $800.
All right.
Another item displayed is a knife scabbard, colorfully designed. Its value at auction is estimated to be...
Your little knife scabbard would probably bring about $150 to $200.
Oh, that's not bad.
And we also have 3 pairs of moccasins displayed. At auction, they would be valued at...
The 3 pair of mocks would probably bring about $150 to $200.
Okay.
Another item featured on the show is an Iroquois bag, and this piece would sell at auction for...
The Iroquois pouch would probably bring about $150 to $200.
Lastly, there's a Plains bag also displayed, and this item is the rarest of all. It would easily command an auction value of...
In today's market would probably be worth about $8,000 to $12,000.
You're kidding.
No.
Oh my God.
Exquisite vases adorned with Japanesque decoration have a fascinating history dating back to 1866. Our guest husband's great-grandfather, a jeweler, took his wife on a wedding buying trip to New York City where she admired these vases but was told they couldn't afford them. Surprisingly, the vases were included in their shipment with a congratulatory letter on their wedding, and they have remained in the family ever since. Made by Parisian glassblower Auguste Jean, born around 1830, these vases are examples of his exceptional work, earning him a bronze medal at the Universal Exposition in 1878. The Japanesque decoration and intricate trails on the vases are typical of Jean's style, making them exceedingly rare and valuable. At retail, these vases are valued between...
The value today at retail is between $3,000 and $5,000 for the pair. For the pair. Thank you.
Is a cherished family heirloom. The clock is a remarkable piece with a rich history. It was acquired by the guest's grandmother during a remodeling.
They were just getting rid of the things, and they called her and said, "We really think you might want this clock." And she said, "Yes, I'll take it."
This clock is a buhl gilded mantel clock featuring intricate marquetry inlaid brass throughout the case. Boule's work, named after the French cabinet maker André Charles Boulle, became famous in the late 17th century for its exquisite craftsmanship. Made around 1880, this clock is a high-quality copy of the original style. The top of the clock depicts Athena.
She was the goddess of reason, arts, literature, which is very appropriate for the theater.
Also, the clock sits on 4 rearing horses, adding to its ornate design. However, while this clock is not a first-period French clock, it is still highly sought after by collectors and is worth...
English copies like this of these early French clocks sell in a retail situation in the $6,000 to $8,000 price range.
It was acquired by this guest from her husband.
Got it from the family of the person who carried it. He got it in probably Budapest. It was in a kitchen cupboard.
The torch was lit at the 1936 Olympics in Berlin. Its holder is crafted from stainless steel, and the torch itself can still be seen at the top. Upon inspecting the bottom of the piece, the maker's mark is revealed. Interestingly, an item like this is highly desired by collectors.
They're just beautiful things and very collectible,
Given its significance in Olympic history and its excellent preservation. This places the value of this object at auction around...
I would estimate it somewhere in the $3,000 to $5,000 range.
Really?
Absolutely.
Down for 3 or 4 generations, likely came from Germany or Austria with their ancestors. George Pryor, a respected watchmaker, was known for his craftsmanship in early 19th century England. The object features an elaborate tortoiseshell case with intricate PK nail heads on the back. The watch's outer case, usually gold or silver, showcased the owner's wealth and taste with intricate designs. Inside, there's a nickel-silver cover, making it a triple-cased watch. At the very bottom, one can discern the maker's mark attributed to George Pryor of London. In that era, pierced balance clocks were common. The gold-toned dial features captivating champlevé enamels where vibrant panels are set into hollowed-out sections of the metal. Those triangular-type numbers are designed specifically for the Islamic market. The appraiser values the George Pryor triple-cased pocket watch.
The range of $8,000 to $10,000.
Wow.
Not bad, huh?
Yeah.
Artwork by Margaret Keane, an artist renowned for her waifish figures with impossibly large eyes the guest inherited from her mother-in-law in 1991. Margaret Keane's work rose to prominence in the mid-20th century. This painting depicts a young girl with large, expressive eyes.
These waifs were her signature.
The appraiser highlights Keane's preferred medium, acrylics, which allowed for a prolific output. Margaret Keane's paintings have fetched much higher prices at auctions, ranging from...
Today, the auction values are $5,000 to $7,000.
Very interesting.
Yeah, thanks very much for bringing it.
Brought her baseball league collection from the 1950s. She played in the All-American Girls Baseball League from 1951 to 1954, starting at age 17. She played for the Fort Wayne Daisies and the South Bend Blue Sox, with managers including Jimmy Fox. The guest collection included her original catcher's mitt, cap, jacket with patches, and a championship photo signed by Jimmy Fox and the team. The collection also included a facsimile program signed by Jimmy Fox and a photo of the guest at 17 with Clark Griffith and Max Carey and a scrapbook. The guest story and collection were significant as the league was the inspiration for the movie A League of Their Own that highlighted the pioneering women in baseball. The appraiser estimates the entire collection to be worth around...
Put an auction estimate, the entire grouping of about $10,000.
I'm surprised.
Not bad for a girl baseball player.
Not bad for a 17-year-old that didn't know where New York City was.
Fascinating fountain, discovered at an auction in Battle Creek, Michigan about 20 years ago, has a unique history and design. Made by Tufts in Boston and dated 1884, this fountain is almost a scientific instrument.
And it's cranberry glass, and it's an amazing item.
Our guest purchased it for $325, despite others at the auction laughing at the perceived high price. The fountain works like an hourglass, where the top tray and bottom piece are filled with water, and when flipped, it displaces the water, shooting it into the air for about 20 minutes before needing to be flipped again. Due to its rarity, design, and interest in science and technology, as well as cranberry glass, the appraiser values this fountain at...
I would say it's a $3,000 item.
Great, wow.
Thank you for bringing...
Art Deco enamel pendant watch. The guest obtained the piece at a yard sale.
She gave me the watch. She said it was costume jewelry.
It is a stunning piece from around the turn of the century. As seen, it features silver on gold with intricate, high-relief enamel work. The watch opens up to reveal a beautiful porcelain dial and is adorned with French hallmarks indicating its origin.
Very unusual piece.
This type of watch is designed to be worn as a pendant, adding a touch of elegance to any outfit. Additionally, it's noteworthy that this watch is significant due to its exquisite craftsmanship and unique design that would easily sell for...
Jewelry like this in the right auction, it could bring $2,000.
Wow, excellent.
A significant piece of Hopi art. This piece is a Kachina doll carved by Jimmy Kiwanwatiwa, who was the first Kachina carver to sign his work.
They called him Jimmy K because it's rather difficult to pronounce his last name.
Jimmy K revolutionized traditional Kachina carving by introducing dynamic poses, such as the one seen in this piece, with outstretched arms indicating movement and dance. This departure from the earlier stuff and static figures made his work highly collectible. Also, this particular Kachina, likely a hawk Kachina, was crafted in the late 1930s to early 1940s.
And it's neat that all the feathers are on it, because a lot of them you see, all the feathers are gone.
Additionally, the use of all cotton wood in its construction is traditional. However, the craftsmanship reflects a blend of traditional Hopi techniques with Jimmy K's innovative style that's valued at...
If you saw this in a gallery today, it would be $1,500 to $2,000.
And ticket that was used during the E. Connie MacDay event appeared on an episode of the Roadshow. Connie Mack Day was an event hosted in 1934 to celebrate the longest-serving manager in Major League Baseball, Connie Mack. The program had signatures of Connie Mack and the popular event host, George Cohan.
So we have this fantastic program. We have this wonderful history. Look, I would tell you, I would probably insure it for around $1,500.
Wow, that's exciting. Thank you. Fantastic.
She might be pissed at her ex-husband for leaving, but will most likely be eternally grateful for the last gift he gave her. The gift was a color screen print done by Andy Warhol for his Campbell Soupkin series in 1968. According to some, his Campbellkin series is possibly the most well-known image of American modern art.
One of the reasons he chose Campbell Soup early on is because as a kid growing up in Pittsburgh, he was fed Campbell Soup and ate Campbell Soup all the time.
Makes sense. The guest painting was the 90th out of 250 pieces done. It is valued at $50,000.
Come on.
Cards are from the guest husband's baseball card collection from the years 1951 to around 1958. Stored in the attic, the cards miraculously survived a tornado that struck their home about a month after she had organized them. The first card, a 1952 Topps Jackie Robinson card, was in excellent condition with an estimated auction value of...
Good. I would put an auction estimate on that one of $2,000 to $4,000.
Okay, good.
Moving on to a 1954 Wilson Franks Premium Ted Williams card. Though it appeared sharp to the naked eye, it exhibited minor flaws such as staining and a crease, and had an estimated value of...
That one, also at auction, $2,000 to $4,000.
Another highlight was a 1952 Topps Mickey Mantle rookie card, lauded for its exceptional condition, and with an estimated auction value at an impressive...
Auction value on that one of $30,000 to $40,000.
You're kidding. Seriously.
Inherited this lithograph from her mother upon her passing in 2006. The appraiser identified it as a piece by Pablo Picasso. The lithograph bore a date of July 1950 and featured a dove in flight against a dark background titled Colombe en vol. This choice of subject, the Dove of Peace, reflected the tumultuous times Picasso lived through, including 2 world wars and the Spanish Civil War. The lithograph was a limited edition, as indicated by the pencil numbering 7 of 50 in the lower left corner. Much to the guest's astonishment, the appraiser assessed its replacement value at...
I would put a replacement value or insurance value on this at $40,000.
Oh my gosh.
Military memorabilia belonged to the guest's grandfather and his brother, who joined the Marines together for World War II. The uniform consists of a 1917 patterned forest green wool Marine Corps service coat with Marine Corps insignias, indicating the guest's grandfather was in the 6th Marines, specifically in the Supply Company. The helmet, a British pattern, was commonly adopted by the Marines during World War I, and its unique features, such as the method of attachment for the insignia, help authenticate its origin.
The reproductions, they tend to be very careful with the helmet, and they'll drill that hole and insert the insignia and attach it. The Marines in World War I.
Marine Corps items from World War I are highly collectible, with this set being valued between...
Have here today would retail for between $2,500 and $3,000.
Wow. That's very exciting. Thank you.
Years ago, at an Albuquerque thrift store, this lamp features scenes of Paris with holes that allow light to shine through.
Lights come through in the buildings of Paris.
The lamp is a painted, glazed, and carved ceramic atomic age piece made by the Tie of California Company in 1954. Known for its Fauvist interpretation reminiscent of Raoul Dufy's style. Scenes depicted on the lamp include the Café de Paris, the Eiffel Tower, diners, and corner kiosks with posters.
One of the things I love doing is having only this light on in the room so that all you see are the lights in the windows.
The lamp's unique feature of emitting light through the holes creates a beautiful street scene, especially when the room is dimly lit, offering a feeling of being in Paris. At auction, it can easily fetch a value of...
I would say you should insure this for $1,200.
Cool. That's great.
There was an editor for Lippincotts in New York City, and she edited Harper Lee's To Kill a Mockingbird.
Let's open this up. And
May I? To
Yes.
my beloved Tay, with all the love in my heart, Nell.
Travel back to 1960 and witness the first edition with its vibrant green hues adorning the dust jacket, a hallmark of authenticity. They knew Harper Lee as Nell.
To sit with me, but Nell.
No.
Nell Harper Lee, and we sat on the back porch and talked for, I don't know how long, I don't know what we talked about.
Is one of the most important books of the 20th century. This book showcases civil rights, legal intricacies, Southern charm, and proudly represents Alabama's essence. A spectacular movie was adapted from this book. It is an iconic masterpiece because it was a heartfelt gift from the author to the editor with a captivating inscription. The item is quite valuable.
easily retail $12,000 to $15,000. And then
Be still my heart.
Value of this beautiful book has increased to between $15,000 and $18,000 over time. A dealer friend who was closing his shop, purchasing it as part of a package deal for $600, with about half of that attributed to the books. The Bible is from around the turn of the century, a period marked by the arts and crafts movement in England.
there was a big movement in England towards the arts and crafts, simplifying design, simplifying things.
This Bible is from the Dove's Press, founded by Cobden Sanderson, and is considered a masterpiece.
Bound in a vellum, it's a gorgeous condition, absolutely beautiful. This is volume 1.
Produced in 1903, this Bible was out of print before it was even finished, with only 500 copies made. It features handmade paper and type specifically designed for this press by Sanderson. This Bible is kept in a box to protect the vellum, which is prone to drying out. The fact that it's in almost perfect condition adds to its value. Sanderson, adamant about no reprints, reportedly threw all the type into the River Thames when the press closed in the 1910s. The appraiser values this Bible at...
This is a $10,000 to $15,000 Bible. Retail price.
Ohio's pottery legacy lies a treasure from the past. This Roseville tourist jardinier is a testament to its craftsmanship and offers a glimpse into a bygone era of travel and exploration. What sets this piece apart is its decal, a method typically associated with more utilitarian ceramics of the time.
It's ceramic, it can break, so these are fairly rare.
Also, it is characterized by its depiction of automobiles. In today's market, this jardinier is highly collectible among collectors of Ohio pottery, and at auction would fetch
$1,200 and $1,700.
A Francois Gautier doll with original costume from 1880 to 1890 and was gifted to the guest by her mother. Francois Gautier was a famous doll maker who made porcelain doll heads and busts for numerous manufacturers in Paris during the late 1800s. This doll head was movable, and these were very, very expensive dolls of their time. The doll was wearing an original costume, and from its face to hair to dress, everything was still original. To the guest's amazement, the appraiser estimated this doll to be
$4,000 to $4,500.
Wow, thank you, Mom.
Stumbled upon this piece of New Deal history at a junk shop in Fort Payne, Alabama, while helping to unload a piano for a discount. He purchased it because it fits the style of their home and complements their World War II propaganda posters. This poster, designed in 1935, was part of the Works Progress Administration during the Great Depression. WPA produced over 2 million posters covering various themes such as art, history, and safety. It was used in a Massachusetts courthouse construction project in 1936. The project cost $6,000, with the WPA contributing $4,900, and only a few copies are found in museums. Despite its poor condition, its charm remains intact. Framing and minimal exposure to light can preserve it. Since these posters rarely appear for sale, estimating their value is challenging.
$2,000 and $3,000.
Wow, roll tide, that's great.
I would think in good condition, you're probably talking $7,000, $8,000, $9,000.
That's beautiful. Wow.
A masterpiece crafted by Riesner, Stellmacher, and Kessel, is presented on today's show. This porcelain factory started in Turin in 1892. This vase is a stunning piece that reflects the beauty of its bohemian origins.
2 towns put together and done most likely in 1893, 1894.
Also, the vase is marked with the distinctive RSTK amphora mark and a mold number of 664, which helps identify its age and origin. However, this vase's intricate design and beautiful craftsmanship make it a timeless piece that's valued at
$900 and $1,400 as a pre-sale estimate.
That's great. I will treasure forever.
Photographs hold significant sentimental value for the owner, as they were given to their grandmother and father by Duke Ellington, Billie Holiday, and Sarah Vaughan. The connection stems from the owner's grandfather, who was Duke Ellington's doctor, and
He passed away, and I guess he dedicated this photo to my father and my grandmother. My father ended up being a jazz musician.
The owner's father, Dexter Gordon, a renowned tenor saxophonist, was deeply involved in the jazz scene and made a name for himself as a musician and actor. He was nominated for an Academy Award for his role in the film Round Midnight, and
I think didn't he win the Grammy as well?
Yes, the album did win a Grammy, and also Herbie Hancock, who composed the music for the film, also won an Academy Award.
His influence on jazz, particularly bebop, is profound, as he inspired musicians like John Coltrane and Sonny Rollins. Dexter Gordon's career took him to Copenhagen and Paris in the 1960s, where he lived and performed before returning to the United States in the 1970s. His album Homecoming, recorded at the Village Vanguard, reinvigorated his career and introduced him to a new audience. The photos, with inscriptions from jazz icons like Duke Ellington, Billie Holiday, and Sarah Vaughan, are not just signatures, but connections to a rich musical history. This whole collection is valued at no less than
$15,000.
Wow.
This collection of sketches was discovered by the owner while going through items left behind in their San Francisco home. The sketches, by Frederick Remington, caught their eye due to a recent article in the Saturday Evening Post about references.
It's a big article on Remington, so I ran home and just knew what I had, but I never did anything with them. Except hang.
Frederick Remington, known for his depictions of the American West, was an artist who wore many hats. He was a cowboy, ranch hand, illustrator, and painter. His sketches, primarily from the 1880s and 1890s, showcase his diverse talents and
He was sort of a jack of all trades. To make his way in the West, he was a cowboy and a ranch hand and just sort of did a little bit of everything. And that was his artistic.
The sketches, done in ink wash, pen and ink, and pencil, are authentic pieces of Remington's work. However, due to their popularity and the risk of copy prints, authentication would be necessary for selling them. Assuming they are authenticated, each sketch could fetch at
About $2,000 a piece for them.
That's wonderful.
So we're
Goodness.
looking $10,000.
That's a lot of money.
today's show. We're featuring a set of mixed media paintings. Our guest inherited them from her grandmother. These paintings were done by the renowned artist Dorothy Carlton Smith. Dorothy was a Scottish artist active in theatrical portraits and costume designs. She was one of the leading figures at the Glasgow School of Art during post-World War I. These pieces are Shakespearean illustrations signed and dated to the early 20th century.
She actually designed a group of costumes for the Shakespearean festivals that were held in Stratford-on-Avon. Each one of them is signed and dated, and they're dated 1905.
As an artist placed at the height of the golden age of illustration, original paintings bearing her signature are worth
$5,000 and $6,000.
Oh my God. I don't know what to say to that. That's amazing.
These charming figurines, known as the Gebruder Huback kittens, were inherited by the owner, possibly belonging to their mother or grandmother. Stored in a shoebox and intended for decoration in their daughter's room, these kittens hold sentimental value for the owner. Made around 1910 by the German firm Gebruder Huback, each kitten is about 6.5 inches tall, with bisque heads and papier-mâché bodies. They are dressed in original cotton play suits, showcasing intricate details and vibrant colors. The appraiser expressed delight at seeing all three kittens together, noting their excellent condition and the rarity of finding them as a set. In a retail doll shop, the gray kitten would be valued at $2,300.
Gray cat would be worth $2,300. And I have seen him before.
The white kitten at the same price, and despite some damage to its ear, the black kitten would also be valued at
Around $2,300 also, even with the damage. They're worth about $7,000.
I don't know what to say to that. That's amazing.
brought two chairs designed by Jarrett Rietveld, known as crate chairs. Jarrett Rietveld had been a well-known name in interior designing. The chairs were made specifically for the guest by one of Rietveld's carpenters around 1960. These chairs were notable for their simplicity and modern feel. They were made of pine and in excellent condition. The chairs also had tags on the bottom with Van der Grunekon's address, providing provenance and authenticity. The appraiser estimated their value to be
auction. These chairs would probably bring about $4,000 to $6,000 conservatively.
That is surprising. Yeah.
Guest shares an interesting story behind this unique sculpture. He inherited it from their father after breaking down his house in 1983.
I thought it would be a nice memento from home, and I kept it with me.
It's a work by Anna Hyatt Huntington, a renowned American animal sculptor from the early 20th century. Huntington's dedication to studying animals in their natural habitat is evident in her creations. This charming sculpture depicts a heartwarming scene, a mother and child animal interacting. Created using the lost wax technique in the 1920s, this piece boasts exquisite detail and a beautiful patina. In a gallery setting, the appraiser estimates the sculpture could fetch a remarkable...
I think in a gallery it would probably be in the $5,000 range.
Oh my goodness. Not a doorstop.
I don't think so.
Is a stunning collection of music contracts. Our guest purchased them from an acquaintance who worked at the local musicians union.
Some of these had signatures and had some historical value, so I bought them from him.
And how much did you pay?
Probably around $50 each.
This collection comprises 6 original contracts from rock and roll, country, and blues icons. These valuables include a contract signed by Chester Burnett, also known as Howlin' Wolf, which is valued at about...
I would put $3,000 insurance value on that.
Fats Domino, I Found My Thrill on Blueberry Hill record contract, estimated to be worth...
This one I'd probably insure for $1,000.
Bill Haley's record of 1954 Rock Around the Clock, along with a handwritten letter to the promoter of the show, worth about...
And that one I would put $3,000 on, including the letter, insurance.
A record contract from 1965 signed by Johnny Cash, whose authentic signature will put it at a value of about...
Sure, this one for $2,000.
Jerry Lee Lewis' Great Balls of Fire record contract, which was part of the $1 Million Quartet, valued at about...
I would put $1,000 on that.
And a contract for the show in Florida Theater in 1956 by Elvis Presley. This famous contract signed by the artist would be valued at least...
I would still place an insurance value of $5,000 on this contract.
Wow.
These contracts were all original and date back to the mid-20th century. This collection of original music contracts signed by the icons of the 20th century at an auction is worth at least...
It's for this Florida Theater, which still has existed since 1927.
Watch has a unique story behind its discovery, as it was found by the guest's father in an old automobile that had been totaled. Housed in a silver box, this watch is a rare piece with French hallmarks dating back to around 1820, making it a very early pocket watch. Despite its delicate paper-thin design, the watch is in good condition. At auction, this minute repeater watch could easily fetch between...
This watch, as is, we would probably give it an estimate of about $3,000 to $4,000.
To the guest's grandfather, who bought them from a fellow trader with a collection of Indian pieces. The appraiser identified them as bandolier bags made by Native American tribes, with floral designs dating back to the late 19th century. These Ojibwes are primarily used for ceremonial purposes in the past. The appraiser revealed that the first Ojibwe bag began to appear in the mid-19th century, showcasing exquisite craftsmanship achieved through meticulous beadwork, with each bead added one at a time. The beauty of these Ojibwe bags was so captivating that they were even exchanged for a horse. Revealing that these floral designs are not considered very traditional nowadays, the appraiser estimated the value of these exquisite pieces at...
You could buy one of these bandolier bags for maybe $1,000 to $1,500. 30 years later, they're still selling for about $1,000 to $1,500.
Set of jewelry our guest inherited from her father.
My father bought them in the 1960s in an antique shop in Old Welling. He was particularly interested in them because of the figure of Maharaja Ranjit Singh.
These earrings belong to Ranjit Singh, popularly known as the Lion of Punjab. He was the first Maharaj of the Sikh Empire. These earrings are made of silver and rock crystals in teardrop shape. They contain portraits of the great Maharaj of Punjab. These paintings are intricately detailed, showing his loss of sight due to smallpox infection as a boy.
If you haven't already done so, that when you look at his face, he was blind in the left eye because he developed smallpox as a small boy.
Showcasing the iconic Lion of Punjab, these earrings hold great significance to the history of the Sikh and Indians. Altogether, it has an estimated value of
£800.
Brought a painting that was bought by her grandparents in 1959, possibly in New York City. The painting was by Vietnamese artist Le Faux, signed and chop-marked at the lower right. Le Faux was a famous Vietnamese artist who studied art in Hanoi and Paris, where he also befriended Matisse. His painting style combined Asian and Western influences with delicate interiors, flowers, and beautiful color washes. The subject matter featured an elegant woman in interiors with beautiful floral still lifes. The painting was on silk, a traditional Asian medium, which may have caused confusion about its authenticity. The appraiser believed the painting was genuine and was likely painted around 1959. Le Faux's market value had increased due to the growing demand for the Asian art. The appraiser estimated the painting's value at...
I would be estimating the painting at between $25,000 and $30,000 at auction.
Thanks, Dad.
One of the most celebrated sculptures made by a prominent sculptor shocks the owner with its value. It was made by Joseph Bernard, a French sculptor who is regarded as one of the founding fathers of modern sculpture. The sculpture belonged to the great-grandparents of the guest, who were based in Paris. Its value was as high as £40,000.
No.
An artwork once abandoned in a farmhouse appeared on the Roadshow. It was a painting made by John William Waterhouse during the early stages of his career. Waterhouse was an English painter whose art depicted women of ancient Greek mythology. The painting was pretty worn out, but it still amassed a value between £5,000 to £10,000.
£5,000 or £6,000.
Shock. I am shocked. I am. I thought about £500. I'm so worried about the rip.
By a remarkable man nicknamed the Furniture Jeweller has been kept under the wraps for 40 years. It was made by André Charles Boulle, a French cabinet make, whose style was characterized by brass and tortoiseshell marquetry. His furniture are being displayed in various museums such as the Art Institute of Chicago, Victoria and Albert Museum and Cleveland Museum of Art.
An antique shop with the restoration done, £5,500.
There was a thing such as brown diamond. This diamond brooch was given to the guest by her aunt because they shared the same name. Her sweet aunt was certain that the brooch wasn't a diamond, but the appraiser confirmed that it was indeed a diamond. The brooch was made with 2 carats of diamond in the 19th century.
And it's a shawl pin for a very elegant lady in about 1900.
Its value was £2,500. The set of the Sheraton Revival period isn't really the taste of the owner. The Sheraton Revival period lasted from 1720 till 1890 and was named after Thomas Sheraton, who greatly influenced the furniture design. The owner received the piece from her mother-in-law, and after hearing its value of £5,000, she had this to say,
I like it all more now.
And tampered with this painting by forging a signature. Does that affect its value? The painting was made by a watercolourist, Edgar John Varley, whose grandfather, John Varley, was an esteemed watercolourist. You could say painting runs in the blood. Although the signature at the bottom seemed like a forged one, it was lack of demand of Edgar's art that gave it a value between £1,000 to £2,000.
That's fine, thank you.
Is that all right?
Yes, that's very
Good,
nice.
well, thank you very much.
Wigornier is among one of the most important pieces of English porcelain to have appeared on the Roadshow. Worcester Porcelain is the second oldest English porcelain brand that is still in existence. The bowl was purchased and has been in the Guest family for approximately 30 years. It was put in a tray together with items considered as invaluable by the family. But this piece proved to be very valuable after being appraised at £5,000 to £10,000.
No. Good Lord alive.
Not bad for a couple of quid's worth of junk on a tray, is it?
I can't believe that.
It's a great thing. Thank you very much.
£60,000 at auction. What could this rough sketch of the cartoon sell for? This lady was friends with E.H. Shepard's daughter, and she received one of Shepard's rough sketches of Winnie the Pooh's as he was evolving from Growler. Growler was a teddy bear that was owned by the son of the book's author, A.A. Milne. Winnie the Pooh drawings are highly sought after by collectors, and the value for the rough sketch was £10,000 to £15,000.
Dad bought these intricate pieces from Italy in the late 1960s. They were made by a renowned designer named Gio Ponti in the early 1920s. Ponti, initially an architect, created these as his first job. He considered himself a failed architect during that period. These are his original drafts crafted during that time. Ponti collaborated with the Richard Ginori ceramic manufacturer on these designs. They bear a mark indicating their Italian origin. The pieces boast a modern, industrial aesthetic. Even in black and white, they exude graphic strength. They feature a blend of transfer printing and hand-painted details. Ponti's designs extended across various media, plates, vases, and tiles. Larger tiles, such as these, are exceptionally rare and desirable, and their value is
easily $5,000 a piece.
Oh, no, really?
Easy.
Wow.
Along with its blanket, which belonged to the guest's grandmother. The doll was originally owned by an elderly lady named Molly Dorr, hence referred to as Molly's doll.
Her name was Molly Dorr, and so we always referred to it as Molly's doll. Molly was born in 1865, and it's from her childhood, we believe, and it's all the original clothes.
Molly hailed from Galena, Illinois, with her ancestry tracing back to Germany and France. Dating back to the early 1850s, this doll is characteristic of most German chinas with molded hair, painted eyes, and typical child-type attire.
This is completely all original. It's very, very rare to find a German china with glass eyes. Some French chinas later on had glass eyes, but not German chinas.
A unique feature of this doll is its sleeping eyes and crafted with a leather body and wooden limbs. This doll was undervalued in the 1960s, but has since appreciated in today's market.
Grandma had her appraised in the 1960s, and they wanted to offer her like $400 for it.
Okay, $400 in the 60s was quite a lot of money.
Additionally, the guest presented one of the doll's blankets, adding to its allure. This doll, along with a beautiful American blanket from the 1860s, is estimated to hold significant value.
Wow.
This doll was manufactured by Salman Halbig, a German company based in Waltershausen, Germany, between the late 1890s and 1920. The bodies were made by handwork, while Salman Halbig produced the heads. It appears that the doll has been redressed, likely in the 1950s, with some repaint on the hands. Her eyes still sleep, indicating their original mechanism is intact. Unfortunately, the doll has suffered damage with a crack in her head, which impacts her value. In perfect condition, she would be valued between $300 and $400. However, with the crack, along with the replaced wig and clothes, her value is estimated to be between...
She's $150 to $200.
All right, thank you.
Mr. owned this furniture. He was a dapper diplomat born in Maryland who ventured to Europe at around 9 or 10 years old. This piece embodies the Louis XVI style, distinct from the more rococo and curvaceous Louis XIV and XV styles. A secrétaire abattant is a French writing desk with a hinged flap for a writing surface. Louis XVI style furniture features neoclassical design popular in the late 18th century France. The brass gallery exuded elegance with its swag and tassels. The satinwood, called citronnier, and the cracks in the panels below suggest its period authenticity. A Louis XVI secrétaire habitant typically features elegant lines and delicate ornamentation, possibly with ancient art motifs. Amidst a sea of reproductions on the Roadshow, this stands as a genuine 1780s original among Louis XVI, Louis XV furniture. The Louis XVI secrétaire habitant garners attention as the appraiser values the item.
The value of this piece would be in the range of $20,000 to $25,000.
Well, it's nice to know that's real.
Belonged to a cousin of her father's who hailed from New Hampshire. 18th and 19th century portrait miniatures, finely detailed on ivory or vellum, were cherished as personal mementos. The piece bears a distinct signature, unmistakably crafted by James Sanford Ellsworth. He was a miniature portrait painter active in New England, especially Connecticut and western Massachusetts, circa 1840 to 1850. Ellsworth, a member of the National Academy of Design, exhibited his work at various art institutions during his career. Wealthy individuals often commissioned these miniatures to commemorate loved ones or prominent figures. Miniature portraits, often painted on ivory or paper and framed in lockets, were popular during this period. They were commonly worn as jewelry or carried in small cases. Admired for its intricate detail, the James Sanford Ellsworth miniature commands attention as the appraiser values the item.
I would put a value on this of somewhere in the $5,000 to $8,000 range.
Oh, thank you.
Glassware was showcased on the show by this guest. We can see a glass drinking tumbler displayed. Glasses like this are very versatile and suitable for various liquids. Despite their delicate appearance, glass tumblers can be surprisingly durable. With all the interesting qualities this piece has, and also being well preserved, how much could this be valued for at auction?
Whereas lead glass turns blue.
In a very, very popular form.
The guest brought in an item she inherited from her grandfather, which she believed to be a tobacco box, but is actually a tea caddy. Popular among English furniture collectors and decorators in the 17th and 18th century, this pear-shaped caddy is lined with foil to protect the tea. Equipped with a lock at the front to preserve the tea and prevent theft,
So the lady of the house would have the key to open the tea caddy, and as is typical with tea caddies like
this item also features a plug at the bottom indicating its age and antiquity. Despite some minor damage, the value of this old piece remains unaffected and would fetch a considerable price of...
can get usually around $7,000 or $8,000 for them. Oh, wow. In a very, very popular form.
Silver cup is not just a beautiful piece of craftsmanship, it's also a piece of living history. Made by the guest husband's grandmother, this piece is a tangible connection to one of the most significant events in American history. Interestingly, this cup was created during a time of great turmoil, with the Civil War beginning just days before its maker's birth. Overall, this historical piece is a testament to its unique place in American history that would fetch
$2,500 to $3,500. It's really quite a wonderful one. Thank you so much.
Here is a piece of fine, translucent porcelain originating from Trenton, New Jersey, known as the porcelain capital of the world in the late 19th century. The guest inherited this Willits Belleek pitcher from her late aunt. The pitcher, likely produced around 1879 to 1880, features factory decoration. Also, it bears the marks Belleek and Willits on the bottom. It is a rare find compared to the more commonly blank pieces intended for amateur decoration.
Which is interesting. You can tell just by the crispness and the evenness of the color.
The design combines elements of Irish Belleek and English Staffordshire-style Belleek, which reflects the blending of style in American art. Additionally, this piece is a precursor to Lenox china, and because of its rarity, it's estimated to be worth...
My guess on a bad day is it's worth $1,000 and maybe $1,500.
We are presented with a pair of portraits today. These portraits were given to our guest by her cousin. The portraits were made in Ohio and painted circa 1820. Ohio is a state in the Midwestern region of the United States. The paintings are on a poplar panel
with a wonderful gray background on them.
and depicts a lady holding a handkerchief and a man holding a book, who are seated on a Windsor chair.
These chairs help us to date these pictures.
A piece like this that reflects the tranquil nature of Ohio in the 19th century would be auctioned at...
At auction, we'd probably estimate them in the $5,000 to $7,000 range.
Oh, okay. Well, they've been down in the basement, so I guess we'll bring them up and hang them on the wall.
Well, that sounds
Yeah.
good.